Welcome to Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. This is not your typical financial radio show. As a licensed CPA, insurance agent, and investment advisory representative, Chris coaches his clients on a holistic view of financial well-being with an objective of providing a complete financial strategy to fund life's goals. Chris is here to guide you down the path to the financial serenity you deserve. Now, here's Chris Cooper.
All right. Good morning, folks. I hate to tell you this, but this is my last radio show of 2024. It's been wonderful having this started off in the year, and now we get to continue on and discuss things in a whole nother light. Another year, 2025 will be here, and it's crazy. So you're going to have to get used to writing, the few times you write those checks, the dates are going to be wrong for the next month or so. I know I already messed up my first experience with writing a 2025 on a document just the other day. So it's going to happen to everybody. It's okay. But before we get into 2025, we are going to talk about New Year's celebrations. And the best way I can think of to talk about that is to bring in my good friend, Mark Sutherland, CEO of Stone Ledge Spirits. Mark, how are you?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks. And I love having you back in the studio. It's always fun. How can you not have fun talking about whiskey?
Yeah, I'm the guy that shows up with the whiskey and vodka.
And he did too, of course.
How to make friends and influence people. It's very easy. You start a distillery and everybody likes you.
A single barrel and we're good. So Mark, tell me about the new tasting room out in Defiance.
Yeah, so we opened Black Friday.
Yep.
So as you know, we've our spirits have been on the market for the last couple of years. Yep. So Stolock Whiskey, it's actually our 2-year anniversary weekend this weekend for Stolock Whiskey.
Very nice.
And throughout that time, we have wanted to have a place where we can host.
Yeah.
So we've been out doing retail. We're in retail all over Missouri, Florida, United Kingdom, and you get a good level of interaction when you do that. You're in the store, they're sampling the whiskey, they're sampling the vodka, but you don't get to show it off through really good cocktails and martinis. Right. You don't get to spend time building relationship. So we have been for the last 2 years looking for a place to have ours as our own, a public-facing location. And so a few months back, 6 months ago, the Hoffman family in the Augusta region approached us and said, "Hey, we've got this bar. Mm-hmm. It's an old bar. It's been there in Defiance since 1893. It's been
right along the Katy Trail.
Right along the Katy Trail, right of the S curve. It used to be a biker bar. Are you interested in taking this property on?" And we looked at it, and because my wife and I have been buying old houses for our pretty much entire married life and then fixing them, we could see so much potential with this building. So we spent about 6 months working with the Hoffmans and doing a lot of work ourselves, just completely rehabbing this 1893 tavern. And Black Friday, we opened up our tasting room. So it's really a martini cocktail lounge. Yeah. We do free sampling, of course, with our spirits, but then we show it off through really good martinis, really good cocktails. We also sectioned off a bit of the building to where the air handling's separate so we can have a cigar lounge.
Okay.
So the tasting room itself is smoke-free, but we do have a cigar lounge if people want to do combined cigars and whiskey. We've got barrel aging there, and then we've got this massive outdoor patio where we can do live music and host when the weather is nicer.
Yeah, and that's coming soon to a season near you.
Yes,
at the
exactly.
Appropriate time.
Yeah, and I mean it's a little chilly right now. A brilliant weekend this weekend.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic, and people seem to be loving it.
Well, I know I had the honor of being on the VIP list for the Black Friday, and
I'm not sure how that happened.
That's your fault.
Security,
but I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect from a menu perspective, and it was incredible. Really neat, interesting cocktails that just really changes my thought process when I'm looking at a drink menu.
Right.
And I think that's what was really interesting is the flair that brought in, just very unique, very different spin on things that added a cool little element.
Yeah, I mean, we have the traditional. So you want an old fashioned, you want a Manhattan. We can definitely do that. You want to do a sidecar. Any of the traditional drinks we can do. But then you put that seasonal flavor on it. Yeah. So one drink that's been really popular the last month has been our vanilla cinnamon old fashioned.
Yeah.
So
wow.
it's an old fashioned. You add a little bit of vanilla into it, but then you add a cinnamon stick, and you light it on fire. And it's amazing how that aromatic addition to the drink just changes the drink experience.
Yeah.
And really just takes the drink to the next level. Another big one is our campfire mule. So it's a traditional mule with our little spin on it as well, but we also light a marshmallow on fire. So you have again that an after drink snack, but you also have that sensory. It takes more than just the taste. It's a sensory addition with the smell, and so we're trying to do that with a lot of our garnishes.
Now you talk about fire a lot. Do you have a problem? Like, are you a pyro or anything like that?
Younger days, maybe just a little.
Young guys, who
doesn't? I mean, a big part of being British is Guy Fawkes Night, where we burn a guy in effigy every November the 5th. So, it's part of the culture, I guess.
Well, it was incredible. I know my wife was like, she was not into the whiskeys and everything, but being able to see how these things can work in type of a spirit type of a situation or a cocktail type of a situation was really interesting.
Yeah. Our espresso martinis are hugely popular. Right
very
now.
Good. Yeah.
And then the other one that's big right now is the Winter White Cosmo, which uses white cranberry juice. Very well presented.
She liked the White Russian as well.
Oh, the hot White Russian? Yeah.
Yeah, the hot White Russian.
Yes. Yeah. You can't go through the day without a hot White Russian.
Well, so talk to me about, we have the grand opening festivities, the official grand opening festivities were this weekend.
That's right.
So a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. Brilliant time. People are coming out and enjoying themselves. Yeah. We also did a barrel release, and actually, this is our newest barrel release, December of 2024.
Nice.
So we have 3 spirits that we make. So 2 whiskeys and a vodka. So immersion vodka, incredibly smooth. And then we have our flagship Stone Ledge whiskey, which we're celebrating the 2 years this weekend. That's a bourbon mash. So 55% sweet corn, 40% honey wheat, 5% malted barley. Extra long fermentation for smoothness, aged at least 4 years in Missouri white oak. That's a batch process. So we take multiple barrels and we continually blend those barrels. It's not technically a blend, it's a batch.
Okay.
Because it's always the same mash. It's not a bunch of different mashes blended. It's every barrel has the same mash in it. And then we take 4 or 5 barrels at a time, put them in a mixing tank, take a barrel at a time out, and then add another barrel. So you have consistency of flavor.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. That's a very hard thing for a small distillery to do.
Sure.
And we've been able to pull it off thanks really to the skills of our contracted distiller, Demetrius Kane. So we do that. But with our single barrels, we hand select, myself and Demetrius, we hand select each barrel.
Okay.
We always go for the same mash bill, 90% honey wheat, 10% malted barley. Going for the same age, at least 8 years old, same position in the rick house, so it gets some very similar flavor elements. But there's very, very slight variation in them, but they're all incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
So this is our latest 8 years minimum. Slightly longer on this one. It's barrel strength. This one is 58.11%.
Okay.
So 118
packs a punch
change. So it goes very, very well. And this is actually yours.
Oh, goodness. See, this is it. He comes with presents.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, there you go. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
So we released that this weekend. We celebrated the 2-year anniversary of Stone Ledge. And then, of course, our grand opening. We had a month of soft opening because we'd never done this before. And we needed to make sure we could do this and figure this out. I needed to make sure I could bartend.
This is why I really got the VIP treatment. I was the guinea pig.
You were the guinea pig.
So how has the bartending transition gone for you?
It's been going really well. We're enjoying it. It's exhausting and exhilarating at the same time.
Yeah.
One of the big things about whiskey, and that's the reason we added the cigar lounge to the tasting room, is whiskey and cigars force you to slow down, to start spending time with people. A cigar takes you 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit there and you're going to sip some really good cocktails or some really good whiskey, and you're going to spend time with those friends and family that you brought with you. That's the most fantastic thing about this industry. Well, being a bartender, you also have people that come and hang out for an hour or so.
Right.
And you meet as complete strangers and you leave as friends because you're talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you're talking about drinks, but you're talking about life. You're talking about the Defiance region, which is where we're at. which is one of those beautiful parts of St. Charles County.
It absolutely is.
So you've got all these, you've got this time, and then of course, I'm now figuring out how to actually talk and mix at the same time without screwing up, which is good. But people are loving the drinks, which is great. But yeah, it's very enjoyable being a bartender.
That's awesome.
And building those connections. With people.
Connections and conversations, right? So when we looked at how we wanted to set up our office space, we wanted to be different from just everything else, because most places you get the stock market channel on, you get all this other stuff. It's just kind of noise, and we don't need that. We need to slow down. We need to talk about goals. We need to talk about objectives. We need to get to know each other and build that relationship and foundation of trust. And so, I have a fully stocked bar right there in my office, overlooking our couch and our fireplace, and it gets people to slow down, have a conversation, whether we have a cocktail or not. That's irrelevant. You can still have that nice casual conversation, because when we talk about money, people tend to tense up. They get very, some people just are like, it freaks them out. I have one buddy of mine that's like, man, I have to have a few beers before I come in to talk, because I'm like, every time I go out to talk to my financial guy, I'm like, he has to have a few beers. I'm like, well, maybe we should be working a little bit differently here. Like, that's a problem. We're not having the right conversations if you're that nervous.
I think they view it more as transactional. And I've had financial advisors like that in the past. And it's sell, product. And it's like, no, understand my needs. Don't try and goals. I've had conversations where, I tell them what I'm wanting to do, and then they have this package they're trying to sell me. I'm like, that doesn't meet anything we just talked about.
None.
And you've got to understand, as a bartender, you've got to understand what people like.
Right.
It's like, we'll have that conversation. What do you drink? What's your preference? Do you like it sweet? Do you like it spicy? Do you and then we'll be like, all right, I recommend this drink, or let's go off menu. Let's do this drink. And so it's really you're finding out what they really want and what they need,
That's
and what they enjoy. And I think the same in what you're doing with the financial.
100%. I couldn't say it more perfectly, and it just makes that balanced approach that get that right cocktail for in the individual.
You're listening to Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Request a free copy of Chris's latest book, The New Holistic Retirement, by visiting SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com.
One of the common questions I get asked by most people I meet, actually, are our taxes going to be higher, lower, or maybe even stay the same in the future? Now, I think, and quite frankly, most people I talk to would agree that tax risk is high and they're going to be higher in the future. Now, if that's the case, what are we doing different today to plan for that inevitability? It's a hard, complicated conversation, but we need to take control of our financial situation today. How do we do that? Well, first we have to learn. So one of the things I love to do is host educational events where I speak to tax risk and other financial concerns that many people have. I've got 2 events coming up I'd like to especially invite you to. Thursday, January 30th, or Tuesday, February 4th. Both events taking place over at Stone Summit in Winsville. Take control of your financial future. Eliminate that government partnership, or at least mitigate. Come to one of our events, and I look forward to meeting you there.
Visit SerenityWealthNow.com to register for Chris's upcoming workshop. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Hi, it's Vic Porcella. You're listening to Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper on 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
All right, so now when we get into, obviously, tonight's the last night of 2024.
Yes, today. So 11 to 7.
Okay.
So this is our last day.
Still time.
You can come pick up a bottle of the brand new single barrel, or just come enjoy cocktail, cigar, and then we're actually going to be closed all of January.
Okay.
For some reason, people decide they don't want to drink in January.
Well, I think that, it's Defiance is a beautiful place. And I'll tell you, when it snows in Defiance there on the Katy Trail, I mean, it's beautiful. It absolutely is. But it is a little bit of you mentioned it. It's a slow down type of atmosphere.
Exactly.
We love Defiance. We think it's beautiful. We go there as much as we can. But it is a little bit more of that slow down type of vibe and feel. And so it does tend to be a little bit slower in those winter months, but it starts hopping.
And then you have the dry January thing. It takes people a month to realize they were wrong.
Well, they got to pretend like they think about fitness and stuff.
Right. You know? I mean, I'm planning my 3-day diet, and then we'll be right back at it. Maybe 12.
Over the years, you've learned that, you have this whole goal, but it ends up being 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we'll open up again February 1st.
Okay.
And then be open the rest of the year. So currently hours are Thursday through Sunday. So Thursday evening evenings, Friday evenings, all day Saturday, and then Sunday during the day. As the weather gets warmer, those hours will start to expand.
Sure.
So good place to connect with us is social media. We'll post all that information on there. Any specials that are coming up, special events, live music. We're going to do a lot of live music throughout the spring, summer, and fall.
And you're looking at daytime live music, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
So we've got some really good neighbors.
Yeah.
So we're right across the road from Wendy's Roadhouse and right next door to the Watering Hole with both their restaurant and their farm-to-table store, which is phenomenal. If you haven't checked them out, you need to check them out.
What I didn't know about them, and I just found this out actually on Black Friday, their cattle right here, just a mile and a half down the road in Defiance.
Yeah, they run.
That's amazing.
They run Circle 6.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it's just been their farm. They raise Angus and Wagyu cattle, lots of other animals on their farm, and then they source from other farms around for the veggies. But they purchased the building right next door to us, and they've got a farm to table store where it's all their stuff.
Yep.
And then in the restaurant, it's all the meat and the items that have come off the farm.
Right there.
So it's as fresh farm to table as you can really get.
Yeah. Well, that's Missouri, and then you go right next door to your location and Missouri whiskey.
Yeah, and we do more than just our stuff. So we're making these cocktails and these martinis, and we're featuring as much as we can other Missouri spirits as well. So People's Gin, Le Bon Liqueur.
And Le Bon is really interesting. I use that in my old fashioned, which is also on your recipe.
Lazy Old Man
as well.
That's right.
Perfect, easy, simple, and fantastic.
Yeah. So we're really trying to feature that. And we've also, if you're not into spirits, we've got beer, we've got wine. Again, Missouri. We've got 4 rotating taps. We've got some stuff from Good News, some Short Leaf, and Mother's right now. We also have the new Crafted Light in cans. That will eventually be on draft. That's made by Billy Bush over at Bush Family Brewing and Distilling. Also,
there's a lot going on in Defiance.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. I mean, we've got multiple wineries, multiple breweries, 2 distilleries, multiple restaurants. You don't even have to go as far as Augusta, but you can go to Augusta and add even more.
Yeah.
So it is a phenomenal neighborhood to be in, and we've got really good neighbors that we're partnering with. So we're talking about the live music. So we'll do the afternoons because they want to do the evenings, and our stages kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
So Circle 6 will do evening music. We'll do daytime music.
You could always do like a battle of the bands kind of approach.
We could, where we switch off. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not, when they do well, it reduces my piece of the pie.
Yeah.
It's when they do well, it drives business my way. When I do well, it drives business their way. And it's the way businesses should run.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it brings traffic into Defiance on a great area. And we like to use the Katy Trail as a conduit to get from one nice, really trail location to another. And you've got all these great spots along the way to really just enjoy some time with your friends. And
exactly.
family.
And that's what it's about.
That is absolutely what it's about.
That's why we do all this.
Yeah.
Is for that family and friends stuff.
Well, and when you enjoy what you do, are you really working a day in your life?
Exactly.
So, all right. So live music coming in. It's probably spring.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume if weather depending, maybe.
Correct.
Every now and then it's Missouri. We every now and then do get some nice winter weather.
Exactly.
You got to get it coordinated, of course. So
a
little tougher, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So, all right. So we got tonight for the last time, 2024, and then kicking it up. And this has really you've been about a month.
Yeah. We opened Black Friday.
Yeah. So pretty solid month of getting your feet wet, getting introduced into the community. And now you're just going to be able to spend this next month of just kind of figuring out what you need to adjust.
We got some additional work to do on the facility. We're going to install an additional fan in the cigar lounge. It's been handling the smoke fine, which is great. It's keeping it all in that area. We just improve the airflow just a little bit. And a few other things, just kind of making adjustments to the back bar.
Sure.
Just so we can work a little bit smoother when we're doing the cocktails and the drinks and such. So we'll do that, and then I've got some travel coming up, and then of course we distribute all over Missouri. I've got my distributors in Florida and the UK, so I need to touch base with them.
Got to pay them a visit.
We got some new markets we're looking at, so there may be some travel involved with that as well over in Europe and other states. So we'll stay busy for a month and then back at it February 1st.
Well, I have a confession to make and a little bit something I'm ashamed of because So my wife, was getting she has a cocktail menu when we do socials at our events. That we do a couple of socials. We try to do about once a month, bring some clients in, friends and family and stuff like that, and encourage everyone to bring their friends and family as well, have some fun. We do that roughly once a month. She has a drink menu. So she's reached out to you for some suggestions and, kind of borrowed some ideas of yours along the ways as well. And so she's got some that she likes the vodka drinks, tends to. So she comes in with some supplies and like bottles of like Tito's. And I'm going, what is this? Why are we Tito's?
I'm not sure what to say right now.
I don't know. I know. So you got to give her a hard time and help her understand that there are many places, in fact, probably the same places that carry the Tito's.
Probably.
Also.
So just in St. Charles County, Dogwood, Fried Tuck, Total Wine.
Yeah.
They carry both our whiskey and our vodka. Schnucks a lot of the Schnucks carry our flagship whiskey. But then when you get into other parts of St. Louis, wine and cheese, you got Grillo's over Lake St. Louis, the watering hole in downtown Defiance when we're closed. They have our stuff. So we actually have maps on our website that show 150 plus locations across Missouri and
I just got to change
Florida
her understanding because there's a big difference. And I'm not to diss on Tito's. I'm sure
I'll diss on Tito's. I mean, Tito's when they came out, they were decent.
Yeah,
they were consistent. They were good. They were small batch. Today they source a lot of their vodka. It comes into Texas. They run it through the stills once and they bottle it.
Stills once.
Yeah.
All right. So now that's a big deal.
It's already been distilled elsewhere. But they're just running it through their stills just so they can say it's Texas. So, and that's the challenge when you get
interesting.
that big. So they cannot produce what they need because they are so big.
Gotcha.
They're starting to have to go out and source mass-produced vodka. So the quality's gone down. It's not what it used to be. And they did a phenomenal job. Their marketing was amazing. They were a great company. Still are a great company.
Sure.
But just the quality of the vodka is just not there.
Yeah.
It's just they've done so well with marketing that people walk into pubs and bars and order a Tito's. They order a Tito's and vodka. That's how synonymous it is. And most bartenders are like, if you order a Tito's and vodka, I'm giving you a Tito's and vodka.
Nice.
But they mean Tito's and club or Tito's and whatever. But they've done phenomenally well. And they've replaced, the old ones that, the old vodkas that were the standards.
Sure.
So in Missouri, we are working hard to replace Tito's with inversion.
Yeah.
We're pricing it as such. So most retail locations, it's $20 for a bottle of ours.
Very reasonable.
That is deliberate.
Yeah.
We're also 8 times distilled. They're only 6 times. We're a lot smoother. Because we do extra long fermentation. They don't.
So is the fermentation or is the times distilled that makes it the smooth?
The smoothness comes from the fermentation and the non-chill filtration.
Okay.
So we leave all the fatty acids in there as well.
Yep.
So that gives you that really good mouthfeel. The fermentation really smooths it out. That's why there's no ethanol smell.
Okay.
That's why there's no burn in our vodka.
Sure.
And I'll put that vodka up against any vodka in the world when it comes to reduction of ethanol smell. We're as smooth as any of them.
Yep.
And most of them still smell like ethanol.
It's a really solid choice if you're a vodka drinker out there.
And it's available in so many places that your wife should frequent.
I don't understand this, but I'm just saying. So I have to make sure. I'm going to probably get in trouble for calling around on
your New Year is not going to be very good right now.
That's okay. Well, I have friends, so I might end up in your cigar lounge for a little while or something.
I'll open it up for you.
So, and that makes a big difference. I think that the quality, the focus on quality control, but that small feel still exists. So
exactly. So I mean, we work with a gentleman by the name of Demetrius Kane. He's under contract with us, and he produces for other people as well and for himself. But he is a 9th generation distiller. He's learned from his grandfather. A lot of the recipes have handed down for generations. The yeast that he uses has been a continuous yeast strain since it came to America in the 1700s. So there is history, there's art, there's science. He's phenomenally good at what he does. And so that is, you can see that in every bottle that he produces. And we're thrilled that we've been working with him for a number of years, and he's producing our whiskey and vodka for us.
Right here in Missouri.
Yes. Yeah, he's based over in Union. He also has a tasting room. So if you want to go visit his tasting room and see where Storlock and Inversion are made, then you can do that over in Union.
Yeah.
And then, of course, hang out at ours, and we'll do the cocktails, the martinis. We've got barrel aging as well, and of course, the cigar lounge.
So the barrel aging is interesting. So you've got a whole little room dedicated just to that. That's what the barrel aging. It's a little bit of a private space as well.
It is. So, federal law requires us to keep it locked up at all times because for some reason the federal government, wants their tax dollars before you can do anything with it. I don't know.
No. Taxes?
I know.
Come on.
It's just a terrible concept.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so bent out of shape on that.
Always has been.
That's
it's a
right.
historical thing. You can go back to the end of beginning of time.
So we've got that. Eventually, we're going to put a nice table in there so we can do like private tastings and such in the barrel room. But for now, you can just look in and see the barrels.
Well, and that's something that we're going to end up talking about because I love doing educational events, talking about, different financial concepts, but we can have fun doing it. I always say fun with finance,
absolutely.
right? So one of the things that I've always been entertained by is the concept of doing some type of a tasting with a little bit of a financial lesson mixed and sprinkled in there as well. You go to these, and I, unfortunately, I do them sometimes as well, events, dinner events and things like that. But I don't do these in suits and ties. I like to do this and have some fun with this, have some jokes, tell some jokes, talk a little bit about, very important topics, but make people laugh at the same point in time. What we do, it does get serious at time when we talk about, planning, for our future and legacy and survivorship. And, Mark, I know you probably know this, but we expire. We have an expiration date as humans. And so we have to think about and have conversations about planning for our goals future, not just our future, but our goals future. And so we have to have some uncomfortable conversations at times, but
whiskey makes it better.
Whiskey makes those easy. It is. It's more fun. You can learn a little bit along the way, have a serious conversation, and have some fun along the process. So
whiskey's kind of a model of that as well.
It's aged, and that's the whole process, right? It's slow. It's easy, smooth, but enjoyable. You're not just hammering things just to no, we're just
a good whiskey was
and
planned 5 to 20 years ago.
That's incredible.
And then you followed the process and you followed a plan, and then you tested it and you adjusted it, and then 20 years down the road you bottle it and you enjoy it. But that would not have happened without 20 years of planning.
Well, see, now that sounds just like retirement planning.
It does.
Right there.
Exactly.
Like, you work, you try to enjoy what you do along the way. You mix in a few pieces of good advice. You switch it up a little bit as goals, objectives change. And then all of a sudden, here you are, ready to hit your retirement age, and you make that transition. And people sometimes struggle with that. But you know what? It's okay. You crack open that bottle you've been working for this whole time, and here you go. You're ready. So, well, I don't know if there's a better way to end the show than right there. I got to tell you, Mark. So, all right. So we're going to enjoy the final day of 2024 over at the tasting room. Can't wait to see what 2025
open at 11
brings.
today. So close at 7. So come on by. Would love to host, and then of course open again February 1st.
I love it.
Ready for Valentine's Day. So,
there you go. Well, cool. Well, Mark, thank you for coming in. Really love the new place. It's great, and I can't wait to see it next year as well. So
thanks.
All right, buddy. All right, guys. So that's it. What we need to think about is planning for that future, cracking open that nice barrel when you're ready at the right time, giving yourself permission to enjoy and savor that long-term journey you've worked up for. That's what we're all about at Serenity Wealth Management. That's how you make sure you get that financial serenity you deserve.
This is Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Request a free copy of Chris's latest book, The New Holistic Retirement, by visiting SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.